Scott, how's it going, my guy?
Caleb, what's going on, dude? Just hanging out, trying to figure out what day of the week it is. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm sure it gets busy running for governor.
it's all blurring together. I can, I could be as busy as I want to be running a campaign.
Hmm.
But the reality is, like, I've been balancing everything in this campaign around keeping my full time gig running every
Yeah,
day. I got a priority first to provide for and take
yeah,
care of my family. So I got to work, and then as a teacher, right, I've got kids. I got 15 kids this year in my classroom that are dependent on me to be there every day and to
for
to
sure.
give them what they deserve, which is a quality experience with an educator. They can't get that when they're split up throughout the day or they're with a sub. So I've been trying not to take time off of work out of the classroom to go campaign. But the good news is everybody's been really flexible. All of the media that I've done over the last couple weeks and will continue to do over the next couple weeks, they've all been extremely flexible with me and being able to work around my schedule. So it's nice that I can do that, but it also takes me back to the days when I was running sales, right? When I was out selling windows and working 13-hour days and never home and not seeing the wife and the kids, and
Yeah,
so it's pretty exhausting. And I'm not a young whippersnapper like I was when I was running the sales hustle. When I was out not canvassing neighborhoods and that kind of stuff, trying to get people to sign up for windows. But um, it's still exhausting. You know what I mean?
for
Like
sure.
now that I'm getting a little older, I'm like, okay, I'm glad I switched to teaching when I did because man, I would have been hurting for sure. But
Oh,
anyway,
absolutely, for sure. Sales is
anyway,
rough, man. It's
yeah,
really rough. So yeah, so that's I guess I just wanted to get right into it because we try to keep these guest segments kind of quick. I don't want to go on too long. I already have trouble with going over time.
oh, I bet, dude,
So
you're a talker,
I don't shut up. That's part of my
right?
problem. Uh,
Right,
I said it in the first segment. I'm like, I could do this for 4 hours tonight if they wanted me to, but even I don't
sure,
want to listen to that. So,
sure.
so I wanted to get right into it. I know you and Carol Blood. Jim Pillen was not supposed to be president. He had backed out. Shocker. We're supposed to have a debate. It was last week, and it kind of fell apart. What happened there?
No, so we weren't necessarily supposed to have a debate. We had been in negotiations and we had arrangements in place. We had everything in line to do something hosted at Bellevue University, and the Omaha Free Speech Society was going to run with it, and everyone was committed to it. And then we got this KPOW invitation for local public access in Omaha, and Carol and I had both agreed to that. Pillin, of course, his schedule will not permit for his appearance on
Mm,
this recording. Um, so when we committed to that, and we both agreed that that was going to be the thing, the campaign rep from Blood's camp came back to us and said, "Hey, at this late stage in the cycle, it's we don't feel like it's a good use of time and resources to deliver the same message twice."
sure.
Um, because Pillin, of course, denied or failed to confirm his availability for the upcoming debate that would have been with Bellevue University. So
Hmm.
it's kind of been a thing. We were real excited to be able to debate. This forum, this KPOW is going to have to serve as that substitution for that, but it is a forum and not a debate. From what I can understand, there will not be any back and forth dialogue, which is cool.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know. It's interesting. I don't really have much experience doing that. I'm not a politician. Like, it's not my background. It's not what I'm not wired for that type of environment. But because I'm a straight facts kind of guy. Like I'm a straight shooter. I prefer to talk about myself. And it seems like every time I watch a debate or I watch these kind of forums, it's candidates attacking each other rather than telling people why they should vote for candidate me for me. They're out there saying, well, you shouldn't vote for that guy because XYZ. And it's
hmm,
it's frustrating because I struggle to play that game. So I would still love to get a debate together because I feel like at the ballot box I matter. Like, people
sure.
can go and they can vote for me. I will be printed on a ballot in the state, and I think it's important for voters in Nebraska to hear from me and to hear my vision and my plan for what we're trying to accomplish here in the state. And I think it's been very well received everywhere I've been. Everybody I've talked to, everybody I've met has been really amped about the campaign and what we're doing. So the more people, the merrier, as far as I'm concerned. So if we can get that message out and in the marketplace, and thanks for letting me come on your show and introduce myself to your viewers. I have to admit I have not seen any of your shows, so I don't know if you're gonna
Yeah.
it's gonna turn into a roast battle later or what's gonna happen. But so yeah, the debate thing. It's interesting that the Republican candidate has chosen to effectively just hide from the voters. Like he's not out in the public eye. He's not doing interviews. He's not doing forums. He's doing public appearances. He's going and
Yeah.
he's doing on the ground events, which it might be nice to have that flexibility to be able to pick up, go wherever I
Yeah.
want, and host a for everybody's, you know what I mean, attend it. But I don't know. I've never been to one of these, so I don't know if it's an open bar or what's going on. But
Yeah.
I do know that people have worked events hosted by that camp and have complained about how they were treated from a service professional perspective and treated like the help, and they didn't appreciate that. So, it's just an interesting campaign strategy, and it makes me nervous as a voter, as a citizen in Nebraska, because I don't know, if he wins, what's he gonna do? He hasn't really laid out much of a plan. So
Right. And my concern with him coming out of the primary was, if you're afraid to even debate your primary opponents, what are you going to do when the federal government comes knocking? Because I mean, you can say what you wanted about Ricketts, but if nothing else, Ricketts had the stones to stand up to the Biden administration when they were
sure,
clearly encroaching on individual and economic freedom, and
100%.
with the COVID policies. So I mean, so what are you going to do there? The other thing I saw, it was interesting. I saw a poll, and this is a Republican internal poll, and internal polls tend to favor, I mean, your candidate a little bit more than maybe reality does. And the only poll they've had on this was a Republican internal poll that said Jim Pillen's only up by 5 points against Carol Blood. Now, when you
Wow.
consider that, I don't know the last time. It's been probably 20 years since a Republican candidate got less than 60% of the vote. That's significant. So, as a libertarian, if Jim Pillen were to lose, you could very well be the difference in the Republican and the Democrats' votes. I mean, would you be? How would you feel about people coming out and shouting that you're the reason we have a Democrat governor in this state? You've taking that
It's,
blame.
you know, at the end of the day, I think I can get more votes than Carol Blood. I think
Hmm.
I can garner more support than her. So I believe there is an honest chance that we're gonna do this thing. But coming back and being a spoiler, I don't buy into
Yeah,
that. I don't buy into that argument at all. Every vote that I get, I feel like I will have earned.
absolutely.
I've put the mileage on my car. I've put the wear and tear on my shoes. I've been in the parades. I've been meeting the people. I've been introducing. I've been doing what I can with the resources I have available to me. So if they want to call me a spoiler,
Hmm.
and Carol Blood does become the governor, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna be up in her business on a daily basis, and I will definitely tap into my network of people that are affiliated with the Democrat Party that can put a bug in her hair and kind of hold her accountable, because I think that's where we fail, is we are not holding our leadership accountable for representing the
Hmm.
people, and I think that with the Republican side of things, it's such an ivory tower up there. It's next to impossible to network your way into the power to influence
It's a
the
good old boys
machine,
club.
the red machine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas with the Democrats, there's a small enough presence in Nebraska that there's still, I've built relationships with folks in that party, and although we don't agree on an ideological level, we don't agree on a philosophical level on a lot of things. We don't agree, but
Hmm.
we do agree that we can't let one party just control it all, because when they have immense power, they're not afraid to use it, and both parties have shown that.
Hmm.
So with that power, they'll just come in and wield it. We saw it during the pandemic, where government was literally telling you you can't leave your house.
Right.
It's like, well, no, I'm sorry, I don't play that game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that just for me was like a wake up call and a sample that was like, whoa, 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 we got to rein this in,
Yeah.
because they shouldn't be able to just say you're mandated to do these things. It's just kind of an interesting power struggle, and I think it's important to get the power back in the hands of the people.
I agree.
Um, but I don't think the Democrats. I don't think Carol Blood has it in. I don't think that camp has it in them to push her to the finish line. I don't think they do.
I agree. I
Um,
agree. And to speak on that, I've been just out with you, and you're out campaigning. Like it's ABC, always be campaigning. Like you do
always,
hustle.
yeah.
I mean, I want to make that clear. You will have earned every vote. It won't just be a protest vote because
I
you're
sang
in front of
karaoke
people.
last night, man. I went
Yeah.
and I sang karaoke last night, and I did my Folsom Prison Blues, and I did my prison overcrowding rant.
I've been there when you've done that too.
To thunderous applause. The whole room turned to me, and they were talking to me after and asking me questions about my campaign, shaking my hand, saying, "Hey, you earned my vote," saying things like, "You know what? I've never voted, but I'm registered, and I will come vote for you."
There you go.
And those are the voters that matter the most. That voter apathy. Those people that are so fed up with this system that just manipulates them and dominates their every aspect of their life. People are done with it, and I think it's important for them to see that, hey, there are real people, actual individuals that are qualified to do this job, that have the best intentions, that are available, and we followed the process. We got on the ballot. Our name is printed. It's right there. Everybody will have, and I know I've seen a lot of pictures of the ballot, sample ballots. I'm listed third, so that's always hard. And then you talk about the polling data. There is literally, I've not seen any. You've seen a couple. I've seen a couple.
I saw one. Yeah.
I know. I would put money on the fact that I was not included in that Republican poll. I would put money on the fact that it was if the election was held today, would you vote for candidate A or candidate B? Oh, forget candidate Z, because that's who I am, man. I'm candidate Z, right? I'm in it for the Gen Zs, bro. Anyway, it's
no
all
cap,
about the
right?
kids.
It's busting.
No cap,
it's
fam.
busting.
That's
No
lit.
cap.
That's bussin'. No, that's only about food. They told me it's only about food. But
bussin' is only food?
No, yeah, that's it can only be like it's like a delicious. It means
delicious.
Yeah.
One of my friends has one of my friends has a stepson that's a Gen Z kid. He's like 14, and he was at his bachelor party and was telling me, he was giving me the rundown on all the language. So I found out what mid, sold, no cap. I found out what all that means. So it was
good.
Education.
Yeah, you know what, man? I a lot of times in a fifth grade classroom, I pretty much feel like I have to be bilingual. I have to and I'm not fluent. I'm not fluent in Gen Z, but I understand enough to be able to communicate and respond. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Sure.
And to also get a lot of eye rolls when I start talking like them. And they're like, "Oh, Mr. Z," But that's part of who I am. I'm a comedian. I'm a real dude that just enjoys making people laugh and making people happy. And that being a teacher gives me that opportunity. We joke around, we laugh, we have a good time, and the whole time we're learning too, which is a really good experience. And I think I could bring a lot of that to the governor role. I think there's not enough of that. I don't think there's enough people in those suits and ties. They're too stuffy, and I think coming to somebody in there that can lighten the room a little bit and lighten it up and say, "Hey, look, let's." You're funny.
Let's screw around a little bit, yeah.
Right. Let's find something we can agree on instead of arguing about things we'll never agree on. And I don't know, man. It's been a wild ride. It's been a wild ride for sure. Like I knew it was going to be hard from day one when I declared on April 20th, 2021, and I came out and I said I'm going to do this thing. Mostly I was kind of joking. I was fired up, but I was, it just took off, man. And the support has been there. My campaign strategy has been very unorthodox, so it's been hard to get people to like see what I'm doing and respect what I'm doing. But at the end result is like I've got this vision, like I've seen it. We are stuck in this two-player game, this game of Battleship. And if you come in and you run your campaign just like these other two campaigns are running in this two-player game, you're never going to get a seat at the table. So why not come over here and start my own game and see who I can draw over? And I think that's been the angle. I've been trying to take it to the streets, and get out there with the media. I was looking at my YouTube metrics, man. One of my videos.
Did we just lose him?
And that's huge. I mean, it's not huge, but it's something,
Yeah. No, our interview with you on Bread and Circuses did really well. Like on all platforms, like 5 times what we normally do.
People want somebody they can believe in. And sometimes you just need an old bearded wizard to come out of the woods and be like, "Here I am to save the day."
Uh,
So,
and so you mentioned that you're a teacher. That's one of the things I wanted to get into before we got to wrap it up.
oh, sure,
No rush at all. So like I said, you're a teacher. Obviously one of the hot button issues on just about every ballot this year is education. It's what
sure.
kids are learning, how they're learning it, what else is going on in school. How would you go about solving, or at least trying to contain some of these issues? I mean, you've got drag shows that look like full on strip clubs. Kids are learning that they're colonizers because they're white and that they're oppressors. I mean, there's litter boxes in public school bathrooms. Like, what do you think the most effective way to solve some of this would be?
Well, community accountability is the answer, and the community responsibility is to hold those schools accountable for taking those actions, and they
Sure.
need to have the power and the authority in their own areas, in their own hometowns, in their own districts to step in and say the challenge we have is that through this entire cycle over the last 2 or 3 years, even parents have been shut out from school board meetings. They've
Yes.
not even
Arrested.
been allowed to, they're not even been allowed to speak to their elected representatives, the people that they voted and elected and put into a power to make decisions based on and they've been shut out completely. So I first want to go on the record as saying I have not seen any of this crazy nonsense occurring anywhere near my school or anywhere near any schools that I'm
Yeah.
affiliated with. I've seen the headlines. I think what we're seeing here, Caleb, is a lot of the fear mongering. Right? We got the fear aspect of the headlines or the hot buttons. Oh, they're grooming your kids, and then the fear turns into an anger and a rage situation where we hate that other person, and then we become so divided we can't see the forest through the trees. At the end of the day, I foresee a vision for Nebraska where we become an innovator in our country as far as educating our children in the public realm goes. We have to have public education. It's not going to go away. In Nebraska, we have a constitutional responsibility to provide that. So
Yep.
why are we not doing it better than anybody else? It's because we are attached to the federal Department of Education, and our hands are tied on what we can do. So the first thing I would do is look to remove that connection. Let's go rogue in education. You know what? I can't do any worse than what we've done since we standardized it in 1979. There's not
Right.
when the federal Department of Education was born in 1979. I cannot think of one academic metric that got better. I can't think of
Sure.
of a one. So that would be my first move, and then once you clear that path, my focus would be on opening up the enterprise market, letting private education companies come into the state of Nebraska, set up shop, and offer private K through 12 options, whether it's in a private atmosphere, like using university resources or using empty building resources, or virtual, so that these students that are out west that are maybe helping the family farms or helping run the family businesses, they can go to school for a couple hours a day on the internet, do their homework at night when they're done working or around their hours, and be more flexible instead of requiring them to not be truant. They
Right.
got to be at school whatever 80% of the time or something before the county starts showing up at your house. Let's give them the freedom and the flexibility. So I would create a very fiscally responsible model for public education in Nebraska that hyper focuses on the local communities and their needs, and making sure that their community resources stay in their communities, and that they are given the things they need to educate their children where they are. The way children learn and develop has changed so much in the last decade. And although the system was pretty antiquated 20 years ago, the system is super antiquated now. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
time to revamp that model, and let's make it better. I don't want to do it with education. We have some amazing educators in our state, but we also need to make it better for people that would be amazing educators that need a career in education to be able to
And did we
do so
drop him? Oh no.
because the exam, and then going and being able to become teachers. So yeah, that's what I would focus on, that aspect. And then once you give the power back to the community, you shouldn't hear about any litter boxes in the classroom that kind of stuff. So
And that's the big what I say about teachers is like I've been critical of public education, but and I don't know how to make it any more clear because I've said it before. I it's the same thing as police officers. The majority of the people that go into the profession, the overwhelming majority do it with altruistic intent. It's just unfortunate that the ones that are bad, when they screw up, it's really, really, really bad. And I think,
yeah,
and it's front page news,
yeah, it
because
is.
I mean,
It
same
is.
with cops. The overwhelming majority of cops, I would wager to
We're
bet. I
good
mean,
people. Yeah.
yeah, anytime you have an encounter with police, it's not going to be positive because there's obviously something bad going on. It's just
But
like
it's not
anytime
that.
you have an encounter with your mechanic, that doesn't mean
It's
he's a
not
bad
the
guy.
officer's
Yeah,
fault. That's a system problem.
yeah,
I shouldn't be afraid when I see a police officer, and it's not because
exactly.
of the officer. I don't know that guy from Adam,
Yeah,
but the reality is I've been conditioned by the community
yep,
to be like, oh crap, I'm going
yep.
to get extorted at
Yep,
this
that's
moment in
exactly
time.
what it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, so two rapid fire questions before we let you go here.
All right.
Number one, Pete Ricketts says he's going to wait to assign a senator as long as Jim Pillen wins. Um, so it hypothetical situation, he doesn't do it. You pull off the upset. Who do you assign to be a senator?
I would have my eye on two or three different individuals for right off the top of my head, and I'm not gonna name names right now because I don't want to put anybody on the spot before I have a conversation. But
Sure.
I will tell you this: that if the decision landed in my lap, I would have two or three top contenders that I would want to go out and have conversations with and encourage them to pursue that role. And then beyond that, I would open it up to individuals that are interested in doing it, and then conduct an interview process, a screening
Yeah.
process. I did a lot of hiring and onboarding for people throughout my many careers that I've had throughout my life, the different lives I've lived.
Yeah.
But I've done a lot of hiring, and I've made good hiring decisions for the scenarios and what we're working with. So I think that sitting down with somebody, you really get to know them, and I would take the time to make sure that their intentions are true and honorable, and they want to actually go be representatives of the people. So with that
Yeah.
being said, yeah, I got a short list I'd work with, but from there, the sky's the limit. So
Yeah.
maybe you,
No,
Caleb.
maybe me.
I don't think you're old enough. No, I don't think you're old
Senator
enough yet.
Salvatore. Oh,
I don't think
God.
you're ready yet.
I don't think the state of Nebraska is ready for that, and I don't think I'm ready to have all
Much to
my
learn,
stand-up clips
right?
drug out of the closet on me. Um,
Right.
no drug screening will be part of the
Right.
interview, right? No
It's
drug
government
testing.
work, of course not, man.
Okay, and the last question I had. So the state of Nebraska in the last week made $250,000 in tax revenue
Yeah.
from the Warhorse Casino, and that was just from my great aunt alone, from her trips there. That was a joke.
No, I get it.
Okay. So what would you do with that? I mean, we're going to have all kinds of new revenue coming into this state that's no longer going to Iowa. Thank God. What
Yeah.
would you do with that kind of revenue?
I'll tell you, Caleb, the priority with those types of, I call them the recreational taxes, with the gambling taxes. I would even go as far as recreational cannabis. So any recreational activities, those tax dollars should be going in to relieve the burden on the property taxes. One of my primary targets is going to be to get rid of the income tax, and the recreational taxes will be used to serve that replacement. So yeah, I would use it, and I would sink it right back into the system, and I would say that some of it needs to be up for grabs for the city of Lincoln, because one of the complaints that I know I have about Lincoln, and you have too, there's not an easy way to get north to south.
No.
So they should probably have an opportunity to upgrade their infrastructure with some of those resources that the communities generate.
Seriously.
In my opinion, yes.
Yeah, man.
So that's where I would focus on that. But long term, the vision for those high dollar recreational fields, including when we bring professional sports to Nebraska, that entertainment revenue that we'll bring, that's all going to funnel back in to make sure that we are able to eliminate income tax and then relieve the burden of the property taxes that we're having, so we can establish some hard changes that need to be made, setting sunset dates, locking in rates, making sure people are not being extorted at the whim of a perceived marketplace. So I'm talking specifically about the housing bubble. You're right. Good luck buying a house right now, Caleb. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't need the reminder.
Man, don't forget, the Fed set the rate, and the rate's at the highest it's been in a long time. So
I know. Hopefully the prices will drop a little bit, but I'm not holding my breath.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
Before we peace out of here, where can people find out about you?
Man, I'm on the social media. Obviously, I'm on Facebook, or as my younger back beard fans remind me, it's Boomer Book or whatever they call it now. But
Boomer book. Yeah.
I'm also on TikTok. The TikToks are always fun. I'm
TikTok.
not. It's there for entertainment value. Those tags are both Zimmerman, the number 4, and then Gov or Governor, either depending on which way you're going. The website, votezimmerman.com, is the best resource for my campaign issues, my priority as governor. But the one thing I want to make very clear is I want to hear from Nebraska voters. I want to know what's important to you. So if there's something that you're looking for that's not on there, please message me. All those come straight to me, and I respond to them personally. I want to make sure that I'm accessible, and I will continue to do that as the next governor. I want to make sure I'm responsive and accessible to the people that I'm aiming to represent, because I'm not just there for my political elite or my loyalty to my party. I'm there to represent Nebraska, because Nebraska truly does deserve better. And you can see some of my commercials on YouTube. So go and find me on YouTube, Scott Zimmerman for governor. If you Google that on YouTube, you'll find me on the interweb. So
Awesome.
I think I got all my
Awesome.
boomerisms. I'm
Awesome.
trilingual, man. I'm trilingual. I'm speaking Chinese, I'm speaking boomer.
All right. Awesome.
You're awesome, man. Thanks for having me on here.
No,
I really
I appreciate. Thank
it.
you for coming on. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, my guy.
Anytime.
Best of luck in the campaign, and
Right
we'll
on.
be seeing you. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.